Sup everyone, welcome back to another video. And as Sumeru is soon to be behind us, we want to talk about the future, Focalors, right? This Archon, people have been saying, has to be one of the most broken, if not the most broken, the most redefining, at least the most utilized, because Hydro as an element is just utterly broken. It is unbalanced. Right now, Hydro, if you just give like 10% of Hydro's usefulness over to an element like Geo, it would lift Geo immediately out of poverty. Like right now, Hydro is used in most, if not all, of the best team comps available. Even people who want to just play the game for fun has some Hydro unit in their team, because without Hydro, without the water, life doesn't grow. Most of Genshin Impact, for some reason, has been built around Hydro. Hydro seems to be the pillar of life, right? Okay, cool. So then the Archon, by definition, if we're just going by general trends, has to transcend, even the bestest of characters. Is that really true? And what exactly is Focalor going to do? And what does Focalor's existence mean for the other Hydro characters? Is she going to come in and replace, let's say, finally Xingqiu is going to be knocked off the throne, right? Or is Yelan going to have a side grade? What is going to happen? Is it going to be a hierarchy of Xingqiu, Yelan, and then Focalors? How are they going to design it? Are they going to bring in an entire new concept of Hydro mechanics? Let's say increasing your HP percentage, right? Increase your max HP percentage, HP buffing? Or is it going to be overwhelming Hydro applications / team buffing all combined into one? There are so many different approaches they could take Focalors. Which one does the community need the most? Right now, is there a definitive answer to say, well, to take Hydro one step forward, not like it needs more steps forward, but to take Hydro even further from its current position, what do we really need? Now, before you even continue watching this video, I want you to comment down below what you think, like from a Hydro's perspective, from the game design perspective, what more can HoYoverse do for the Hydro element? Because any more than what it is right now will only further the gap between how influential Hydro is comparative to the other elements. Because even an element, let's say, such as Dendro, right? Currently, I would say Dendro is not too far behind Hydro, but Hydro really is one of the pillars that holds Dendro up. So in my honest opinion, Dendro needs Hydro far more than Hydro needs Dendro. Together, they do make one of the most broken reactions the game has to offer, but really it's not like if Hydro didn't have Dendro, it wouldn't be a good element. That is just not true. Before Dendro came along, Hydro was still one of the pillars of the game, synergizing with Pyro and Cryo extremely well. And of course, back then, Hydro was all Electro also had to go off of when it comes to anything meta related. So let's not even kid ourselves to say Hydro is reliant on Dendro to be good. So going forward now, let's talk about some of the potentials for the Hydro Archon. Now, let's start off with her being like a Hydro support DPS in the same role as Yelan and Xingqiu. How is that going to work? Like, let's just think about this for a second, because if you're saying that the Hydro Archon is going to come in and once again slot into the support DPS role, don't get me wrong, double Hydro is amazing. Imagine taking Xingqiu and just boosting him even up more with a Hydro Archon, or if you are playing the Hydro Archon with, let's say, someone like Yelan, that's going to be a superb combination, I would like to believe, right? So it's just saying like, okay, double Hydro plus you can flex Xingqiu now permanently into the international team. That's pretty damn good, right? Meaning Hu Tao finally has a solid double Hydro pairing, and you can fully flex Xingqiu permanently into the international team. That's fine. I mean, you can flex them into other teams as well. It doesn't really matter, right? So this addition, people will think, oh, but right, that kind of takes away all the job that Xingqiu had. Not really. Flex him into the other team. That's why there are two teams in the Abyss. So this could work, but I think this is just too on the nose. It's too straightforward. I think with the Hydro Archon, HoYoverse, their main goal with it is to maybe experiment with something new. Let's say the approach that they took with Nilou. This is also an interesting approach. They could take the Hydro Archon, come in and just elevate all Hydro reactions. What? Just think about this for a second. Imagine what Nilou does for the bloom reaction and just take that to the extreme with the Hydro Archon. So now we have super freeze or super conduct or super hyper bloom, super vaporize. All this stuff okay, I know you guys want me to say it. Super crystallize. What the fuck? It's just a lot of potential here. Now, how each things gets activated might be dependent. Let's say if you have a certain number of hydros versus pyros, then maybe you'll have a boosted pyro reaction. If you have a certain number of cryos versus hydros, of course the Hydro Archon has to be on the team, then you have a boosted freeze reaction. Like, going off of this concept will fully leverage the power Hydro currently has over the reaction system, taking something that's already very influential and boosting up even more. And this will for sure give the Hydro Archon immense dominance over the future of our metas, right? So, but is this too OP? Let's just imagine this for a second. Imagine Nilou but like on crack for the Hydro element. Is that too much? It really depends, right? Maybe at base level it's not that amazing and it's more difficult to make work, but once it gets C1, once it gets C2, things become a lot easier. Same with Nahida's C1, making it a lot easier to pair and get the buffs from the Pyro and the Hydro and the Electro onto your team, right? It's kind of a similar thing, but a little bit different. So not as on the nose. This could be an interesting route they take and took what Nahida does and what Nilou does and kind of elevate that even more. But that might be a little too complex and way too difficult to balance, which leads me into another option, which is she just has a very basic and straightforward kit of buffing her HP, applying good Hydro, and offering another unique buff either in the damage department or some sort of insane utility feature. Right? So let's say take Kokomi and just give it more range, better Hydro application, more consistency, and instead of healing your HP, it buffs your max HP. So all the characters that want to benefit from having more HP, that scales off of HP, suddenly can benefit from this. So it doesn't even just limit her to, let's say, the Hydro element anymore. Any HP scaling character is going to benefit from this. And let's say future Fontaine characters, Natlan characters, all future HP scaling characters are going to really love this buff, and it's going to be a very unique buff, and you can only get it from, let's say, Focalor. That's very on the nose and great Hydro application. So all teams that require Hydro would absolutely adore her. And that's a lot of teams, by the way, just saying. On top of that, if there's another utility feature such as it taunts, right? Just saying like it taunts all the enemies and it stays on the field for like freaking 30 seconds. Great Hydro application, buffs your entire team's HP percentage and taunts enemies. And of course, it scales off of her HP, and her HP is like a solid 80,000 or something crazy like that, plus double Hydro on the team. You guys see the point. Freeze would suddenly be really good with it. Hyper Bloom obviously going to be extremely good with it. Vaporize, I don't know how that's going to synergize with Vaporize. Has always been a little wonky when it comes to how it likes to interact with its Hydro application, but who knows? This could be very on the nose, but it could be a possibility that Hoyoverse just defaults into. Now you have to think, what are they going to do for the constellations? If it's something this simplified, this dumbed down for everybody, what are the constellations going to be? How are they going to upsell the C2? You guys know for a fact Hoyoverse is going to come and be like, we really need to incentivize for them to pull C1, C2. Like, we don't care about the weapon nowadays. They really don't care about the weapon because they realize the weapon banner could go screw itself. They're not really going to get your money from the weapon banner, but that C1, C2, eventually people get reruns. They're going to be hunting for that. Right, so you see all these options, and these are we're just scratching the surface when it comes to the possibility of Focalors. Now, this is, I believe, before like any concrete leaks of her are circulating the interweb. So right now, everything that we say is really speculative. My guess truly is as good as yours. We're not at the point where people can comment down below. It's like, well, actually, Walrus, the leaks have already shown that she's... No, not there yet. So people, really, truly, take a moment to enjoy this feeling that we're all in the dark together. Now, maybe some of you guys through some really tight connections have some leads or information about what kind of things that she could possibly do, but nothing is concrete. So I want you guys to go down below. Do you guys think that Focalors should take Hydro even a step further from it is right now, or should she just build on the amazing foundation that Hydro is currently already sitting on? Which path should she take, right? I personally don't think they should put any more emphasis on strengthening Hydro, making it better. I think right now they should just spread out and make the utility features of Hydro more consistent, more widespread. Now, yes, we have amazing Hydro characters, but what Focalor can really do, and I've been saying this for almost 2 years now, is consolidate the roles. We want more roles built into one single character. And Hoyoverse is very stingy with this kind of stuff, but the one place they have never been stingy about are the Archons. They're fully okay with making the Archons busted ass, broken, meta-centric characters. They're okay with that, and they do that once like a year. So with Focalor coming out, we can really see a huge consolidation of all the roles Hydro has to offer, consolidate into one character. Now that in of itself is worth its weight in Primo Gems. Okay, that's all I gotta say, and please have some fun in the comments section. Okay, go crazy. I'm gonna be reading it, and maybe I'll share some of them in future live stream. So until the next one, urge you to stay safe. Peace, bye bye.